What's up, fellow car enthusiasts? My name is Eric.
I'm JD.
And this is Gridline Go. So today we're going to talk about BHP and WHP, that's brake horsepower and wheel horsepower, which are two different things. People do confuse them often, and it is crucial to know that there are two different numbers completely.
The biggest differences between BHP and WHP is it's where the power is actually measured. Now, the power of BHP is actually measured at the crankshaft itself. That is the power that engine is making. There's no type of shenanigans happening after it. That is just true raw horsepower of that engine. Now, WHP, there's a lot of different factors that run into it. Obviously, there's going to be horsepower robbing in the transmission, in the drivetrain, whether it's front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, all wheel drive, all that stuff. And depending on what type of drive setup you have, the numbers will vary a lot.
This is true. And typically, it's something that has a little bit more drivetrain to it, where you will obviously lose a little bit more.
Yes.
And typically, it's more of a percentage and not so much horsepower per se. You lose a certain amount of percentage.
You can't just like put a number on it. You can't say every type of one car or every single style is going to have this amount of horsepower. You can't do that. There's a lot of factors.
Right. It varies per car, per make and model, per drivetrain, because certain models have all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive setup, or all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive setup. But for typical numbers, there would be rear-wheel drive is about 15 to 20%. Front-wheel drive is approximately 10 to 15%. And then when you throw in more drivetrain, you have all-wheel drive, you'll have 20 to 25%. And those are rough. They are not necessarily exactly the same. There are lightweight components that do help out sometimes. Gearing is always a factor as well.
So if anybody's getting down to the numbers, you got to definitely know whether they're talking about brake horsepower or wheel horsepower.
Brake horsepower is where you take the engine and it's bolted up to a machine and you run it to its max potential and spits out some numbers. That's your brake horsepower. And typically when you're seeing cars that are advertised at 200 horsepower, that's the number that you're actually getting. It's the engine horsepower. It's not to the wheels.
Correct.
So when advertisers give out their numbers, that's the number that they're getting, the engine horsepower and the engine torque.
It's always higher.
It's always going to be higher.
It's always higher. So they're trying to make it seem
a little bit more
better.
appealing.
Yeah, of course.
So, and then when you see people taking their cars out and getting their cars dyno tuned, or you want to test it after you did a couple of modifications to it, you put that on a chassis dyno or a vehicle dyno. When you got the big rollers, you drive it up there and you're actually on your 1-to-1 gear ratio and your wheels are spinning on the dyno itself. That is actually wheel horsepower, and that's where you're going to get that drivetrain loss. So that number is going to be different than your brake horsepower. So if you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up.
Thumbs down.
If you didn't
thumbs
like
up.
it,
thumbs down.
thumbs down.
We don't know. We don't care. Just hit one of them. Subscribe.
Hit that red square.
That big rectangle square thing down there. Hit it.
Please do that for us. We are coming out with videos weekly. So if you did like this video a lot, feel free to hit that notification bell and you will get a push notification saying, hey,
guess
Gridline
what?
Go came out with a new video. Feel free to watch me. And then if you watch it,
Comment.
comment.
Let us know.
That's it.